everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Who That Weekly, the Nerd Does Finest, Christopher J. Spires. Alright, we got some football to talk about. So today we're going to be going over yesterday's preseason game against the Los Angeles Chargers. As we all know, the Saints lost 27-13. It was not the greatest outcome that I had predicted. But it was an outcome similar to what I expected for the most part. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the facts. The facts on the field right as of now is that this doesn't exactly tell us everything. It gives us a snippet of what the team could be, and for starters, the actual starters on the team. Not all of them played yesterday, which we all kind of predicted. I mean, usually they don't do that anyway. But they'll have a couple out there to see how they're get them warmed up and whatnot. I believe the plan is for next Sunday against the Jaguars, which yours truly is going to be there. Say hi if you want to. So I'll probably up there in the nosebleeds in the dome in section 602 if you'll want to say hi. Anyway. With that being said, so some of the stars will probably be playing more snaps in that game. Now, who the starting quarterback will be, we can only presume Tyler Shuck will be the starting quarterback, considering Spencer Rattler got the nod for this past game. And so that's just off the top of my head. It may not exactly go that way, but we shall see. So only time will tell. But let's go ahead and talk about the game. So, as I just said, we lost 27-13. It was not the greatest performance by the team, but they showed some flashes of brilliance. So, in the first couple drives, I would say Spencer Rattler did pretty well for the most part. He got his passes off on time. He managed to keep the drive extended. Sadly, though, it didn't result in any points. That's the negative outcome of it. So, now there were already a couple concerns early on. Some of our linemen, Will Clapp and Trevor Penning in particular, both got carted off the field during the early part of the game, which is not a good sign because like Trevor Penning, who we have been hearing relatively good things about all offseason and all training camp, got injured really fast. So now we don't know the exact length of his injury. We're hearing it's a lower bodily injury, but we're just waiting for the official report by Coach Moore. So I think we'll get that at some point by tomorrow. That's what I'm hearing. So we'll just be patient a little longer. As for Will Clapp, same thing. We don't know the extent of his injury, so right now we're just playing the waiting game on both of them. So, but having both of them down so quickly and so early on really changed the pace of how this game went, to be honest with y'all. Even though we didn't expect the starters to be out there very long for maybe like a drive or two, it still it gave us a really ugly picture of what the O-line could be again. That might rear a very familiar face, or should I say a very ugly familiar face that we saw last season. So, where the offensive line was just constantly injured left and right, and we had third and fourth stringers playing, and they just did absolutely terrible. So, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing right off the bat. So, but sticking to like the early part of the games, Spencer Rattler, I would say, even though it resulted in no points, he was pretty decent yesterday. The only hiccup he really had, I saw, was he had a fumble, but apparently he ran to a lineman, and the lineman accidentally caused the fumble. That's not necessarily on him. I mean, it happens. I mean, looking at you, Mark Sanchez. That's right, I'm looking at you. But with that being said, just looking at how Spencer Rattler did overall, I'd say he had a decent day. Did I think he had a good day? No. I'm sorry, but no. He didn't have a good day. He just had an okay-ish day. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't good. So he finished the day with 7 of 11. He completed 7 passes out of 11 attempts. He had, how many yards did he have? He had 53 yards for an average of of, 4.8 yards per throw, no touchdowns, no picks, and he had an average of 75.2 on the day. So I'd say, like I said, not a bad day, but also not a good day. You did like the disappointing thing I think out of Rattler from this game was that we just didn't see a lot from him that I was hoping we would see. I just thought that while I'm not going to try to look too much into this, I thought right away that Rattler just felt restricted, very conservative with his passing, not passing play calling. That's more the coaching side of things. But I mean, we expected some kind of vanilla offense entering this game, but I just felt like Rattler just didn't use his abilities that we've been seeing before last season to where he can stretch the field. I mean, he did it a few times by running around. He actually had 3 carries for 22 yards, or an average of 7.3 attempts, average of 7.3 yards per gain, which is pretty good. But in terms of spreading the ball around and finding his open receivers, I didn't see that. I didn't get that out of him. So now I'm not going to dog on him too much because this is the wide receivers is definitely a subject I definitely want to talk about. But I'm going to talk about that later in this video. So, but let me just go ahead and just stick with the quarterbacks. So. After Rattler had finished his day, Tyler Shuck entered the picture, and right off the bat, he guided the team down in a 2-minute drill in the most perfect way possible. And he gave the Saints the very first points of the day. I think it was a 25-yard field goal attempt that gave us 3 points to end the half. He was phenomenal on that drive. He was near flawless. There was one pass I would say I hope he never does again. I don't know if I can find it, but y'all probably know what I'm talking about, where he looked like he was trying to find someone in the end zone, but he stepped up into the pocket too far, and he almost got himself sacked while losing the football at the same time. But somehow he managed to get the pass out of his hands, but it was well overthrown. So I'm just glad it was overthrown and incomplete, because that would have been disastrous. Because I'm like, dude, please, never do that again. Never do that again. So, my little critique out of him from that part of the half. So, as the second half went by, he would start his first drive. I believe his first drive is where he threw the pick six. It was on a little out route, and I don't know what he saw. Maybe just that cornerback just made a great read and just picked him off right there and then. So he threw that pass, it got picked off, and led to a touchdown on the defensive side for the Chargers. So, but here's where I was very impressed with Tyler Shuck. His resilience kicked in. So usually, whenever a pick six happens, that might demoralize a rookie quarterback and just really screw him up. Well, Tyler Shuck, he went back out there the next drive, and I kid you not, he threw a beautifully thrown 54-yard touchdown pass to Mason Tipton, which would be the Saints' only touchdown of the game. It was a thing of beauty. He got him on the little double hook and everything. I could watch it all day. So I'm proud of him for that, because he bounced back very quickly after throwing a really nasty pick six. And then I would say, with the offense under Tyler Shuck, and of course take this for a grain of salt because it was mainly second and third stringers at this point of the game, but I would say under Tyler Shuck, he magically drove that offense down the field much more efficiently than Spencer Rattler did in his first 2 or 3 drives. I don't know how many drives he had total, but what was great is that it was very encouraging to see Tyler Shuck play like that, and it shows that he is definitely improving little by little. And I was hoping I would be able to see this with my own 2 eyes. I'm so glad I did. So again, we have to take this for a grain of salt because it's just preseason, and Tyler's throwing 2 backups at this point. So same thing like I said with Spencer Rattler last season, where we saw some great things out of Spencer, but we have to take it for a grain of salt because it's just preseason. So. But anyway, so the game kind of just wrapped up, ended in a close, and we got a last-minute field goal by Charlie Smith, who nailed a very well-put 50-yard field goal to seal the deal. To wrap up the game. We lost the game 27-13, and yeah, so here's some things I liked. I already mentioned the big pass to from Tyler Shuck to Mason Tipton. That was a thing of beauty. A couple other things. In the early part of the game, before Trevor Penning went down, he had 12 snaps total with Kelvin Banks Jr. They were all on the starting offensive line. 0 pressures, I noticed. Absolutely no pressure. They gave Spencer Rattler all the time in the world to make a decision, get a pass off. I love that. So I absolutely love that. One other guy, and he's actually an undrafted rookie that I mentioned briefly in an episode about a month or two ago, Torricelli Simpkins the third. So this guy, I didn't have much of analysis on him because he was an offensive lineman from South Carolina. He had only one pressure allowed. He showed some good flashes among the second and third string group. So that was encouraging to me. So that's somebody I would definitely keep my eye on while we're playing in preseason at the moment. And that's on the defensive side of the ball. Offensive side of the ball. Excuse me. But in terms of running backs, the running backs did not stick out to me one bit. The running backs did not get a whole lot to work with, and of course this comes to blame how the offensive line played throughout this game, and they just didn't get enough running room. So it wasn't a fair enough look to give them a proper analysis on anything. So it kind of stunk because I was really looking forward to seeing how the running back room looked. We didn't get a good look at Kendry Miller. He didn't do a whole lot. He had 6 attempts, 6 carries of 15 yards, an average of 2.5. That's pitiful. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 4 carries, 6 yards, 1.5 average per run. Pitiful. And Cam Akers, 4 for 9. Let's see who else is on here. Velus Jones Jr., 1 for -1. Yeah, overall, it was a pitiful day for the running backs. But again, at the same time, we have to take it for a grain of salt because we had the backup offensive line out there at this point, so they didn't have a lot to work with. So, plus, usually everybody struggles on the first day of preseason because everybody's rusty and shaking off some rust and trying to get themselves back into their condition. So I would hopefully expect that we get more of the running backs in the next game coming up. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. But let's stick with the offensive side of the ball. Let's talk about the negatives. As I already mentioned, the offensive line didn't look good at all. And the depth behind the starting offensive line is extremely concerning. I was not encouraged whatsoever. I'm telling y'all, if any of our starters get hurt, we are screwed. I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding, but we would be so screwed if any of our offensive linemen get injured anytime during the season. So we better pray to our Lord in heaven up there that that we stay healthy this time. So, and given that, as I mentioned earlier, Trevor Penning and Will Clapp both got injured early in the first quarter of this game, I'm praying that their injuries are not significant enough to hold them back before the season starts, because they still got almost about a month to go before the season starts. So if they had to miss preseason, so be it. But we need all of our starters healthy this year. So the offensive line is a huge concern at this point. And now I'm hoping, like I just mentioned earlier, that maybe I'm hoping they're just getting rid of preseason jitters and just rust and everything. And that's what I'm hoping for. So that's why I'm hoping the next game coming up, we would just play a lot better. So the next thing I'm really concerned about is that receiver group. Let's be honest, y'all. Even though we had the one nice big catch, excuse me, we had a nice big catch by Mason Tipton, and we had some pretty reliable catches by Austin. What's his name? Let's see, I forgot his name already. Anyway, well, Kevin Austin. There we go, Kevin Austin. So he was second in team with catches and had the most catches on the team, but the least amount of yards. He had 4 receptions for 42 yards. The longest was 17. So outside of him and Mason Tipton, there really wasn't anybody out there that was adequate enough. In fact, any of these backups, especially Bub Memes, who I'm very disappointed at this rate, I'm just very disappointed in how he's been performing so far. And seeing him out there, he did absolutely nothing. Like, literally, he did nothing. Like, he had 1 catch for 12 yards, which sounds good, but it's just 1 catch for 12 yards. Like, I know they're giving reps to everybody, so there's that. But the thing I noticed a lot is that we drop balls too often. The receivers dropped the balls too often. They couldn't get separation from opposing cornerbacks and safeties. Like, that's a huge concern. And this is what I was worried about entering this season, because we didn't draft or bring in anybody except for Brandon Cooks. But do we count Brandon Cooks at this point? He's just a veteran who's been around the block for so long. I wouldn't count him. But I was hoping that in this past draft we at least get a receiver, because this past draft was loaded with receivers. And I've been seeing some receivers here and there from other teams that are rookies, and they were part of that high draft class, and they look phenomenal with their current team. And I hate to admit this so much, because one of them happens to be the dang Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dang it, man. Oh, and Carolina, dang it, I forgot. Carolina, too. Doggone it, man. Why didn't we draft receivers? It is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. So again, as I already mentioned, I'm hoping this was just a bad game for everybody, and everybody's just shaking off rust. So I'm not going to overreact too much, but right now, offensive line and wide receiver are my 2 biggest concerns. So, and it kind of follows up to what I was talking about earlier this offseason, especially towards the receiver group, where I wasn't confident enough in that specific group to really count them as my top 5 favorite position groups out there for this team, or the top 5 best position groups, that is. So, yeah. So, with that being said, let's talk about the defense. So, the defense, I would say, I think we have not much to worry about in terms of the starting defense. They played a couple series. I'm going to highlight a few players that really stood up to me the most, and also talk about some cons that they had as well. But in terms of the starting defense, I loved every second of their plays. They had 3 drives, and all 3 drives were 3 and outs against the Chargers. Now, granted, the Chargers did not have their starting linemen, starting quarterback out there, etc. But still, to have 3 straight blanks against the Chargers, I love that. That's great. I need more of that. So I feel pretty good about the defense. Now, as the game went on, the defense, well, obviously they filtered in their backups and things didn't look so good. But there were a couple key players that I did notice that were just really, really well done during the game yesterday. So one in particular was Khalil Diggs. Khalil Diggs, who was our 7th round pick from this past draft. I wasn't sure how he would fit in with the team. Had 4 total tackles, 1 assist, and a sack. And let me tell you, this guy was everywhere on that defense. Even though you couldn't tell because the defense was allowing so many yards to the freaking quarterback of the Chargers. That's something I'll talk about in a minute. But you could see he was everywhere on that D-line. He was causing so much havoc on that D and causing enough pressures to where it made the Chargers quarterback uncomfortable. And I loved every second of that. I love it. So we might have found ourselves a little gem there from a 7th round pick. So time will tell. Another one was Chris Rumph. Chris Rumph, who we picked up late this offseason. He had 3 total tackles, 1 assist, and 1 sack as well. Just like for Leo Diggs, he was all over the place. It was amazing to watch. It's like they were just tag teaming it, even though it didn't result in a lot of stops. But just seeing him get enough pressure at the quarterback against the Chargers was enough for me. I loved every second of it. Now and I also did see Danny Stutzman. He also had 3 tackles and 1 assist. He was out there patrolling the linebackers. I would say the linebackers looked very good in this game. I really love our linebacker group. They hardly allowed the running backs for the Chargers to get through to them, and they were there as a second line defense for whenever Chargers quarterback Trey Lance ran around. So They provided enough pressure to where they made the Chargers uncomfortable in some scenarios, even though it wasn't picture perfect. But the guy I have to give a shout out to is Isaiah Stallbird. Isaiah Stallbird yesterday, he had 4 tackles and 1 assist. You could not stop this man. You simply could not stop this man. Goodness gracious, he's in your face. As soon as the quarterback looks, he's already right there ready to tackle you. He didn't get sacks, but he was there to make you uncomfortable. He was there to take down your running back. He was there to shut down that receiver screen or something like that. This dude was all over the place. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely love it. So those are a couple of key defensive players that stood up to me the most, that I'm very happy with, and I'm very satisfied that they're performing well so far. So now let's talk about certain really 1 or 2 players that did not do well whatsoever, and one of them, which should be a given, is Foskey. I think it's Isaiah Foskey, I believe. Yes, Isaiah Foskey. I think we all knew where this was going to begin with. I really do think that this guy is gonna get cut. He's gonna get cut. When I saw him play, and he played pretty much 3 out of 4 quarters all day long. And of course he needs it because he's got more experience than any of these other younger defensive players on a team. But the thing with Foskey, that dude just sucks. That dude can't get pressure. He can't wrap up on his tackles. He simply stinks at reading that off. He stinks at reading the offense. He's just there. He's just there. And it's dude, what are you doing? Just get in there. What are you doing? He's just standing there, and he, oh man, this really grinded my gears. He was responsible for a majority of the plays where the quarterback got out of the pocket, ran for 10, 15 yards, and he couldn't stop him. And he's right there to stop him, but he didn't do anything. He is terrible, gang. I tell you, he is terrible. I don't know why he's still on this team. I guess maybe this is his last chance, but I'm telling you, that last chance is getting thrown out the window, because after what I saw with the rest of the linebacker depth that we got, he doesn't stand a chance to make this team. I'm almost certain he doesn't stand a chance with this team. So it's a shame, because I don't know what they saw in him to begin with, but I can tell you one thing: it was not worth it. Just not worth it. So another guy that I was disappointed with was Rico Payton. Now, Rico Payton is a wonderful story about how a guy went undrafted and led the toughest life before entering football, and he's got a wonderful story. You guys should definitely check him out sometime. And I was so happy he made the team, because last season he had a good training camp and good preseason. So far, not the case. Not the case. Well, he's having a decent training camp, but in terms of this game, he was almost non-existent. In fact, he was also, and this is actually one of the overall bigger problem with the defense from yesterday, he constantly got penalties left and right. We got to clean up those penalties. We had 7 or 8 of them yesterday, and some of them were so costly to where if this was an actual game and we got them, we finally stopped them Instead, we gave him a free first down because some moron had to do pass interference or holding or neutral zone infraction or something like that. Rico Payton yesterday had a lot of those yesterday, and it drove us bananas. And I can't tell you how aggravating it was to hear we finally get a stop, and then, oh, guess what? A flag. Ugh, goodness gracious, gang. God, it's like, can we just stop with the penalties? I'm stumbling over my words, y'all. This is how I get triggered. I start stumbling over my own words. So, yeah. Anyway, so to wrap up the overall picture of how this team did, if I had to give them a grade for their performance, I'm giving them a D. Simple enough. There were some good things, but there are more bad things than there were good things. I simply was not convinced that this team addressed all their needs. But again, at the same time, we're not going to overreact to this because it's just preseason. Preseason means nothing. Preseason is where you groom these guys to be the next starters for the team, for the future of the team, of course. And we just hope that they improve. And I didn't see a lot to be proud of. Like, as I mentioned, the offensive line was a problem. The receiver core was a problem. Certain players on defense was a problem. Penalties were still a problem. Injuries still a problem. I'm just hoping that by the time we get to the next game against Jacksonville, things will at least be better. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. So, here's the thing, though. I still have faith that we can turn it around. It doesn't look good now, and for what we see, we definitely need to address a lot of holes. So, does this mean that my predictions for how many wins they will make this season will change? Not yet. I'm not there yet, because I really want to see how we do the rest of preseason, and I really want to know what changes they make and how they address those changes, and see what kind of looks we get. One thing I definitely want to see, for certain, I want to see Tyler Shuck play with the starting offense. Absolutely. Starting offense is... I just want to see Tyler Shuck with that starting offense. Because after what I saw yesterday, and seeing how confident he looked despite throwing the one pick six and the one bad throw, I think he might be able to thrive with the starting offense. So I assume the starting offense will play longer drives next game. We shall see. So, but it's all up to Coach Moore, and Coach Morris didn't seem too phased about it during his post-game press conference interview. So that makes me feel at ease, and that's why I'm not overreacting. Unlike a bunch of Saints fans all over social media, they're all panicking, and of course the Shador fan cult side of the Saints fan base is like, oh, we should have gotten Shador Sanders. Oh, shut up, man, just shut up. God, and did I not say that in my previous video? I saw that coming a mile away. I said the minute that Tyler Shuck struggled even one time, they're going to be at his throats, and they're going to be complaining that we should have gotten Shador Sanders. It's so dumb, y'all. Just so dumb. And, of course, I don't want to come across as hating either. So I might get a little off track here, but I'm not coming across as a hater for Shador Sanders. I'm not. I really am not. I actually was very fond of him during college, but I noticed he has a lot of mechanics in his quarterback skills that he needs to work on. So, and I gave him a lot of praise this past weekend against the Browns. So, but I just knew because the social media folks are just, their brains are the size of peas at the moment, that they just can't comprehend what's going on with the team. Like, they're not patient enough is another thing. So, but enough about all of that. So that's a story that I already told in the last video. If you haven't seen that last video, go check that out. So, with that being said, I still got the faith, gang. I still got that faith. I'm a Saints fan through and through. I don't care if we get 5 wins, 3 wins, hell, God forbid, 2 wins. I'm still rooting for my boys in black and gold left and right. I hope you are too. It might be rough, but we're all in this together, because I'm certain that we're going to get better as the longer Coach Moore is with us, and the more that he's given time to fix his team. Because we all knew this team was going to be a mess to begin with. But But if we see any blemishes of flashes of brilliance, sign me up. Who dat, baby? So, alright, again, that's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And remember, if you haven't checked out my last video, you can just click on the tab, whichever it pops up on whichever side. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course, because, you know, I'm growing my channel little by little. I'm hoping to reach my goals at the end of this, before the season ends. So, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for y'all support. And, of course, follow us on social media, gang. Alright, take care. Who dat, baby?